Hello and welcome back to Iron's Whimsy. Today I want to talk about the Calming Camelia Sale-a-bration host set. So if you host a qualifying party during the Sale-a-bration period from the beginning of January to the end of February, you can earn this set. Only hosts can get this set, and it is gorgeous. I did some playing with it this morning. And this is where I started. I made this card and I thought it's really effective. The stamp is gorgeous, but it struck me as a little bit plain, especially for a birthday card. If I did this with a sympathy greeting, it would be perfect. But I thought for the birthday, it was just a little bit not quite right. So I went ahead and I had to play with some other products. This is a new product, this stencil. It's the Butterflies and Flowers set. And this is the stencil that I used. And I just stenciled around the edges. And I popped up the happy birthday. But when I looked at it, the two designs aren't quite the same. This is a really stylized, beautiful design. This is more of a fun, kind of flirty design. So I thought, well, this is a really good idea for a different stamp set. So then I went to this one, where I used my blending brush and my ink pad, and I smudged around the outside, and I really quite liked that. But it still struck me as just that little bit plain. So then I went with this, and this is the card we're going to make today. It's exactly the same as this, except I ran it through the Tasteful Textile embossing folder, and I added some of the pastel pearls from the annual catalog to it, again popping up that happy birthday. So this is the card we're going to make, but I wanted to show you kind of the thought process and the iterations sometimes that I go through to get from here to here. So let's get started building this card. I need a, what do I need? I need a basic white portrait open card base. I need a piece of Gorgeous Grape in 5 1/4 by 4 and a piece of basic white in 5 by 3 3/4 for the middle piece. I need a scrap of the basic white to do the happy birthday on, and then the smallest of the stitched rectangle dies to cut it out, and it just fits perfectly. I also, of course, need the Tasteful Textile embossing folder and the pastel pearls. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm just going to put all of this off to the side. So the first thing that I need to do is I need to do the blending around the edges. So I'm going to take my ink pad. You can do this in either order. You can stamp first and do the blending brush later. But again, see how we get those dark pieces on the blending brush? That's why we start off and come onto the page. We just tap off and swirl onto the page. And I'm kind of doing more in the corners, less on the edges, just to kind of give it a bit of an oval kind of appearance. So just coming in, swirling that around, filling in anywhere I see any gaps, like a little bit more there, and I'll come across the bottom. So that's the outlining done. It is really that simple. So now I'm going to ink up my stamp. I'm just going to make sure I've got lots. This is one of those really distinctive, really brilliantly, you can see it even on here, how beautiful that is. So I'm just going to put this down and give it a second and lift up. So there we go. This is beautiful just like this. Adding the element of putting it through the embossing folder just gives it that extra bit. And this is what we talk about when we go from like casual stamper to artfully avid. It's those different kind of iterations of your thought process. You know, how did you get from here to here kind of thing. So I am just going to run this through with the plates that I need for the 3D embossing folders. and we can build our card. The pastel pearls, they are in the current catalog. So again, you can see the texture on that versus the plain one. The pastel pearls actually have some of the old or retired colors in. They've got this Seaside Spray and the Rococo Rose in them. I'll show that to you when I get them out to do the bling. Rococo Rose was one of my absolute all-time favorite colors. So I was really happy that I still had an opportunity to get some of the bling in those. So I'm just going to, again, flat mount this. And these, the pastel pearls are quite deep. They've got quite a high profile on them. So I wouldn't recommend necessarily putting this through the mail unless you're going to put it inside a parcel, or if you're hand delivering the card. Otherwise, it might jam up in the mail sorting machines, and it'll tear the envelope and perhaps tear the card as well. So these ones are really pretty, but not recommended for putting through the mail. So I'm just using the dimensionals to pop this up. And what I found is I quite often, when I'm flat doing things like this with the video, I quite often get things crooked. It's just the way my eyes work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use tweezers to kind of rest this down and to make sure I'm straight, and I am straight. So that's perfect. Now, these are the pastel pearls. We've got the Rococo Rose, Highland Heather, Seaside Spray, and then the Gorgeous Grape. So there are still 2 current colors in here that we can use. I'm just going to use my Take Your Pick tool and just pick these up, just popping them down, just to bring some interest and draw the eye. And I'm going to pop that one up there. The reason I don't have any really close to the edge is when there's a high profile on your bling, sometimes it doesn't fit in the envelope. If you put them along the edge, it bulks up the envelope, whereas if you put them towards the middle, it can still fit nicely in the envelope. So those are the pastel pearls. They are really lovely. And again, we used, on my trial, I used one of the stencils from the Butterflies and Flowers set. So that is our finished card. I'll just move these things out of the way so you can see, again, the steps. So this is where I started, kind of basic casual crafter, and then ended up with the more of an artfully avid card. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed watching my process as I create cards, and let's create together again soon.